keeping the keeping one block gap on the diagonals. One, two, three. Like that there as well. Actually, did it on both sides. One, two, three. So that to there. I don't think this matters too much. I think it matters a little bit when we put in persisters and whatnot. Probably not actually. But the preference is to have a clear gap between the track and the edge of the trackway. As opposed to having a clear gap in between the tracks. Alright, so that, and that. I mean, one of the examples I use a lot is Diablo, especially Diablo 3, where you just like Diablo basically is you go in to a map, you destroy a lot of stuff, and then you walk away, the map resets. And then you go back in and you destroy all the stuff again. And if you really think about that particular behavior, it's kind of insane. Cause you walk into a room, you just break everything. And then you walk out, the room automatically resets. And then you walk back in again, you break everything. You walk out again. And then the room resets. That's basically Diablo. That's the Diablo game loop. And if you imagine that's like a real world room, it seems completely crazy. But that's entertaining. Somehow. Somehow that is entertainment. Which is probably an indictment of human nature, to be honest. I think there are places in Japan where you can go into a room and break a bunch of dishes to vent anger. Jonas says, have you seen the number of videos dedicated to just blowing things up with TNT in Minecraft? I can imagine. I haven't searched it, Jonas, but I can imagine. Guilty, says Wesley. Yeah, no, there's a part of the human mind that just wants to destroy stuff. I mean, I'm glad we have video games to, to be an outlet for this destructive urge. But it is curious, isn't it? One, two, three. I'm just thinking, like, if there were no consequence, it's like this going back to what I was saying before. Like, if we had, if we had no limits, if we never died, like, if there were no consequences for this stuff, I think our instincts would just want to destroy things. And maybe it's because we can't destroy things without consequences that our instincts are like this. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess that's fine. I mean, like you say, Jonas, like people blowing things up with TNT in Minecraft. It's because you can, and there's no consequences. Jonas says, I suppose that's like Fortnite, which is really popular at the moment. You go in, shoot people, either win or die, and either way the world is reset and you go again. Exactly. That's exactly video games. You go in, you kill a bunch of people, / blow up a bunch of stuff, which is horrendous. If it was the real world, it'd be horrendous. But it's a game, so it's not horrendous. And then after everything's blown up, the thing resets, and you do it again. And that's pretty much video games. Is there a way to... Well, that's pretty much video games, except for games like Minecraft, for example. Interesting that murder is fine in video games, but other crimes are not. Well, it's only fine because there's no cost to murder, because people just respawn. Q says, that's why I don't like FPS shooters, especially the realistic ones, says Q. Yeah. I mean, unless you like disassociate the game from reality, like if you have to switch your brain to a different mode, Q, in order for stuff like this to be acceptable. If you can't switch your brain and like partition the game from the real world, then everything is just completely mad and insane. And I was gonna say, like, what we're doing now here is unusual because we are building. Like, nothing is being reset for us. We're not destroying anything. We're building. And this is very unusual in video games. And also going back to what I was saying earlier about like a massively multiplayer Minecraft. Somehow, like, having a game that is creative instead of destructive, but also massively multiplayer. Jonas says, yes, but there would be no cost to the player sexually assaulting someone in game, for example, but that would clearly not be okay, at least in a game marketed to the masses. That is curious, Jonas. That is curious. I mean, I would say that people's emotional reactions would be different to the different things. I was saying to Q earlier, Jonas, you know how if you can partition your brain to separate the game from the reality, then you can do it. And maybe like maybe somehow killing people and being killed, we can separate that. But things like sexual assault and maybe other things, we can't separate that. And that's why one is allowed and one is not. Which then raises the question, like, why is it that we can, or some of us at least, can separate murder or like in-game fictional murder versus out-of-game murder? Why is it that we can do that but not other things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, that's good. Alright, so that's that branch. Nope, that's right. All of that is good, all of that is good. And then let me check Wesley's diagonals on the other branches. You might have brought up a rather disturbing truth about human psychology. Jonah says, I think maybe part of it is because someone can experience sexual assault but can't experience dying. Possibly. Possibly. I mean, you can't survive being murdered, by definition. Alright, okay, I see you doing that. Cool. Should I let you do that, or should I, like, let me just check the rest of the branch. And I think that's all the branches, right? Because it's only 4 branches on this one. Oh, this side is not done yet. That is not powered. Let me stick a thing there. Jonah says it's pretty strange disturbing. I've always wondered about it. Yeah. I guess dying in a video game is very abstract. It's like, what does that even mean? You're right. Like I remember, you know, some multiplayer games, people would be much more upset about being lied to than being quote-unquote killed. So you kill them, they just come back. But if you lie to them and they fall for it, they are so mad. And that's interesting. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like there, I suppose. Jonah says, but you're lying to them and killing their character. Yes. Yeah, you're right, Jonas. You are right. You're lying to the person, but you're killing the pixels. It's so interesting what, like, the questions that video games raise. Alright, I'm gonna start working on the diagonals from this end, Wesley. Let's put that back, and then 1, 2, and 3. Oops. One, two, three. At some point I started doing them the right way, says Wesley. Well, yeah, okay, I mean, we'll catch it all. Jonas says, I suppose as you hinted at, it depends how realistic it is too. For example, players are normally okay teabagging opponents in games like Halo. And some people are turned off by hardcore violence, but it still seems like people have separated murder from killing in games more than other things, yes. Although, I mean, has anyone ever been teabagged in real life? I guess they have, at some point. Although very few games, I don't think any games in fact, actually even like explicit sexual assault is not even possible in any game that I can think of. So it's like it's not even a really a possibility that people have had to face. I mean, you can suggest it, but it's not really in the game, whereas, you know, fragging people in war games is an explicit game mechanic. One, two, three. Alright, there's that. Is there anything else? Like in Minecraft, do people get more mad if they're killed, or are they more mad if somebody griefs their build? I haven't played enough. I mean, I haven't experimented with griefing people, so I don't actually know which makes people more mad. I don't have a lot of first-hand experience trolling people in Minecraft. Depends on how valuable each is, says Jonas. Yeah. Sometimes being nice means you don't understand the assholery. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I shouldn't understand.